Welcome to the Purity Pulse podcast, your go-to podcast for the natural health industry and everything Purity Life. I'm Julie.
And I'm Erin.
And today we're going to go through our usual weekly check-ins.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to have a fantastic group of ladies from Purity
Yes.
Life in honor of Women's International Day. And we will close everything with our new to Purity Life.
That's right.
And so, Erin,
International Women's Day.
Yeah. How do you celebrate that? Do you celebrate it?
I would be lying if I said I celebrated International Women's Day, which isn't to say that I am opposed to celebrating it. It just, it is a day that I think kind of comes and goes, and I like the idea that we're celebrating it and we're thinking about it.
Yes.
But it also comes and goes throughout my daily life. It's not something that I'm planning ahead for or anything like that.
I don't know, you might be a bit too young because I'm a bit older than you, but I remember when I was younger, there was that day that was International Women's Day, and they had like even a little trade show in Quebec.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, there was a weekend of like a 2 days where...
Oh, like a bit of an
was-
expo.
Yeah, sort of an expo for women's. And I remember I was maybe around 10 years old, and I was always excited because there was lots of products. I wasn't focused on the Women's Day or what it meant at that time, but it reminds me of that time. And I think that since then, our parents were more maybe into those things because it was not as open as today, right?
It was so important to be
Yeah,
bringing that
to
to
be
the
a
forefront
day.
all the time.
Yeah, exactly. So I wouldn't say that I celebrate either.
Yeah.
I just think like we talked about Valentine's a while ago, and I was just thinking that this is the same. It's just a nice to remember.
Right, yes.
And to talk to other people,
Yeah.
honor women's around us.
Yes. I
celebrate
do
them.
like it for the fact that, it's that awareness. And this is a great example of how we've taken that day and taken the opportunity to bring in a bunch of powerful women to speak about women supporting women and the importance of that. So, that aspect for sure, I think is great for us.
And in line with that, how do you connect with women's, like your surrounding, your friends, or because we're busy at work, of course, but do you have some outings or scheduled time that you see some friends or women's around you? It doesn't mean to be your friends, could be family and all that.
The closest women in my life I text is really like there's not, we're lucky if we find a time to get away and do something different, but really I think to keep tightly in connection, that's the biggest thing, is that simple knowing that you can take just a second and shoot something over or answer a question or, hey, how'd that go? Or kind of keeping that day to day in touch. I don't think there's any way that I could do that without text.
Yeah. Is it mostly people in your work that you're closer to, or it's really like friends that are out of your daily work?
There are certainly women that I work with that I connect with.
Yeah.
I get more opportunities to connect with women at work.
Yes.
Obviously just time-wise, right? So,
Absolutely.
and you're always there, you're always in each other's space and whatnot. And I work with a really strong team of women.
Yes.
So I get that. Right.
Course,
So I get that opportunity pretty regularly, which is nice.
Yeah.
But outside of that, like if I was thinking outside of work, then it's really mainly, it's texting friends and my sister, a very, very important woman in my life.
Yes.
That's on a day-to-day basis, that's the biggest thing for me.
Yeah, very similar to me as well. I always have my Instagram moment where I like some light humor and I like to share it with my close people. But it's true, though, that it really shifts. Like for me, moving from Quebec City, where, my family and my friends that I had were, they're there.
Right.
There's that distance and we're busy at work traveling. So I think I became very close to people I work with and even like our vendor partners and brokers, and they become your friends and you're
make those
kind of your
connections
group.
there.
Exactly. But typically the best connection is a coffee meeting. I joke and I say, okay, I'm calling a meeting because I want to meet with all of you. That's basically like the way to go. And the same way to celebrate sort of that International Women's Day, but on a more frequent basis, not just on a this is the day of the year where we should celebrate this. It's a little box corner there. So
yeah. Probably should make more time for that, actually.
I agree.
I think in the same way that people say you need to kind of work on and develop your partner relationships, it's probably just as important, really, to work on and develop those friend and other female relationships as well.
Yeah, very looking forward to speak with our panel and to hear from them about their International Women's Day or what they live and think about that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
All right, now we're going to get into our interview with this great panel of amazing purity women. So excited about this one.
Yes. So to start our interview, we would like to go one after the other to introduce yourself, your name, your position, how long have you been with Purity Life?
So my name's Alana Field. I'm the credit collections manager, and I've been with Purity Life for 3 years almost.
Welcome.
My name is Cassandra Bois. I am the Eastern, Western, Key Accounts Regional Sales Manager, and I have been with Purity for 18 years.
18.
Wow. 18 years.
Amazing.
Awesome.
My name is Kristine Hull, and I've been with Purity for almost 6 years, and I am the Custom Account Supervisor.
So I'll start with you, Kristine. Okay. What brought you into the natural health industry?
Actually, Erin, you did. About 6 years ago, I was working outside sales for about 10 years, and I was looking for an office job. I just felt like I wanted to get back into the office, and I was searching, and I found Purity Life, and I was really interested in the position. We interviewed, and I remember leaving and thinking to myself, I would do anything for this position right now. Interviewing with you, I thought, and I remember asking you this question. I remember asking you, would you be my boss? And you said yes. And I thought, oh, she is the coolest girl. I would and it was so amazing to learn from you these past few years, your work ethic and all of that. So you brought me into the health industry. Cool. And ever since, I've been obsessed with everything. Yeah. Everything, all the products. It's just been incredible. It's been a really, really fun transition from sales going back into the office.
Yeah. Certainly Purity's win there. That was
absolutely.
Was a good fit for sure. Yeah. How about you, Cass?
My mom.
Right.
She worked at Purity many, many moons ago, and I used to get off the bus and walk over to Purity and literally sit on her lap and watch her enter orders and hang out, and I thought it was the coolest thing. And a couple of years later, decided to start working there, and the rest is history.
You grew up Purity.
Literally grew up at Purity. I've been in every department except for marketing.
Yeah. So there's always time.
You've been more than 18 years then.
Oh yeah, my introductory to Purity was 21 years ago, maybe more than that. So
wow,
yeah, long time. But it was my mom that got me involved. Yeah,
fantastic.
Alana, what brought you into natural health?
My third rodeo actually into natural health.
Really?
Yeah, I started out as a client at this clinic where it was working out, supplements and all that jazz, and I really got into supplements then, and then they actually hired me there, so I was a consultant for the supplements, and then from there I actually got an office job at Synopta, who used to own Purity Life.
Yeah.
You were at Synopta.
I was.
Okay,
yeah.
Wow, okay.
And I was actually there with Chris Duffy, who
I didn't know that. Chris Duffy is our CFO. Yes.
And he asked me if I wanted to come over and see what Purity was about, because there was a new position, and I'm like, this is perfect. It melded a lot of things in my life together with finance and then also healthy products and all that.
Yeah.
It was great.
I didn't know that about your background. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, me neither. I'll tell Chris, you didn't tell us that you had a connection right now.
Good job.
But it's amazing how it's related to people connection that makes you want, and, for the years that you've been at Purity as well, and, the somebody that knew you that went and picked you up there, basically, and how we get into that industry. There's either we fell in love with a product or we were sick and you get into it, or it's your family, your connection, and it's amazing to hear that.
You get a taste of it. You get a taste of being a part of helping people and inspiring people, and it just sucks you back in.
Yeah. You see all the amazing products, and you just don't want to leave. Yeah. Right? You just want to see what else is coming up.
I always say I'm a lifer. I'm a lifer with Purity.
Yeah.
Yeah, my son would kill me if I left because he loves all the the products.
The products, right?
All
I
the
know.
the
does.
snacks.
It gets
know.
encompassed into your whole family, right? Yeah, it takes over a little bit of everything because it's a lifestyle. So much of it affects your whole life.
Yeah, it's so true. I always find that when I'm with my family, a couple of weekends ago, I was with my family in Quebec City, and it always turned into a product training.
Yeah.
Because we're around the table, and then they see me drinking something. So, oh, what do you have in your cup? What are you drinking? What do you have this? And what is that supplements there? And so it turned into that conference at home, basically.
Yeah.
I think it's a passion that we all have.
Do you
right?
guys have that too with your families?
100%. I love when my family comes over because they're always looking through like my supplements. They're like, oh, what is this? Oh my gosh, you take so much stuff. Or this body cream smells so good or whatever. It's just like, it's constant.
Yeah, it's amazing.
My sister with her little ones,
Oh,
she's
yeah.
constantly like, Kristine, what else is there that you have at your at Purity? What
Yeah.
else do you have to offer? So yeah, loving all the baby products
Yeah.
that we have.
Yeah.
Yeah. And my family, my brother has like skin conditions, so the soaps he found when I was given like a sample, he's like, oh, this is perfect, let me have that. And I found a lot. My mom, my sister, they find these products that I introduce them to, and they're totally hooked.
Yeah. It's like little advocates that we create around
Yeah.
us, basically.
We're all ambassadors.
It's amazing. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
exactly.
The snacks are the best, though.
Yeah.
The snacks are the best. Every time people come to the house, they're like, ooh, what new snack do you have? What new
Or-
Smart Sweet or what new this do you have?
Yeah, or there's a drawback too. I have certain member of my family, they're like, well, this is too healthy, Julie. Do you have something else, right? It's hilarious for that. But since we're here today for the International Women's
That's
Day,
right.
do you recall a moment where women has impacted you in work or around you that significantly, that really touched you?
I do.
Yeah?
It was a couple years ago, and we were doing a departmental shift. We were trying to make sense of departments. Do you remember that?
Oh, I do.
And you all know Natalie. Natalie and I worked
Yes.
together, and she was going to be promoted to my manager. And I remember the two of us, we were just having a conversation one day, and she looked over at me and she's like, I can't do this without you. And we all know that she could have done it without me. But I remember that moment and thinking, wow, you're supporting me, I'm going to always support you right back. And I just felt like so heartwarmed. It wasn't this power shift, it was more of just a transition.
Yeah.
And it was an impactful moment in my life. And we're still working together. She's
Yeah.
still my manager. And,
And you still support each other.
and we still support each other.
Yeah.
So I felt really supported at that moment. That stood out for me.
Yeah, it's funny how impactful it can be when you take that opportunity to really push up and build the other women, right? Yeah, because you're right. It's just as easily it can be a power struggle or like, I
yeah,
mean, that stuff
easily.
comes out just as easy. But when you have the opportunity to be able to lift somebody else up, it's
the best part of it.
It's huge. It's huge.
Absolutely. Yeah.
For me, it was you, Julie.
Oh.
I am one of those people that I don't like the word suffer. I don't like the word struggle, but I deal with imposter syndrome. So I'm always doubting myself, even though I know, like at the bottom of my heart, that I can do it. There's been several times where I've been like, I don't know. No, that's not for me. No, I'm not going to take that on. I'm not going to apply for that. And Julie would always give me a gentle nudge to remind myself to have the confidence that I am completely capable, and so always saw something in me that I didn't see in myself.
Yeah.
So Julie's definitely been that for me quite a few times.
It's so nice to have women in our lives that
Yeah.
do that.
Thank you.
You do the same for me as well. I think it's so nice when you have strong women around you that can point that out, because
Yeah.
you're right. So often we look at ourselves and we're like, oh, I'm not capable of that.
Yeah.
I can't do that. That's too big. That's not me. And we just don't, in ourselves, it doesn't register. Like you don't have the confidence, or you
No.
don't believe, well, I see, you know, Sally over there does it, but look what she has. I'm not anywhere close to where she is.
Yep.
And yet other people are looking around at us saying, what do you mean? You're that and more. And it's sometimes it's just really hard to see in ourselves. So
Yeah.
so being
100%.
able to have people around you that are
lifting
you up.
Yeah.
What's the saying? Empowered women empower women.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
yes. And it's, well, thank you. But I think you're all leaders.
Right.
And I think that's one thing that is so important. We all been through a moment of little ego that shows up, imposter syndrome. But I think when you can actually recognize, you know, and push and really give that little oomph or that
Yeah.
little push on the shoulder, it changed people's life.
Yeah.
And that's what I always like, you know, and you do it in your job also with your team. but to take the time, because there's so much potential that people are not tapping in because of that. They just like back out, they doubt themselves, and maybe people around them, family, are not necessarily aware of what you are. They know your job, but they don't know the day to day, and so they're not there to give you that push. Or you would say, well, you don't, thank you, you're nice, but you don't know. You don't know because, you know, you're not working with me. You don't know the potential really. So it's good when you have people around you, not just your mentor, but people in different departments, which is great. That's why we wanted to have that diversity of department to show that there's very strong leaders out there.
I would say, Cass, that's something that you're very good at too, is you're always, you know, what do you think about this? You're really good at this. You'll always say that to other people. Like, this is something you're really good at, and kind of tapping into that. And that's those little minor pushes, right? Like, it feels like not much at the time, but all of those pushes really compound into something bigger.
Yeah. I love the idea of like never be the smartest person or think you're the smartest person in the room, because that's when you stop learning. Yeah. I love to surround myself with people that have way bigger skill sets in different areas than I do. Yeah. Right. So
I heard that again in the podcast this morning, actually, and it's so true, because it shifts the power as well in the way you think. It's no longer the ego, because that's what is your goal. You're looking for smarter. We talked about another episode, the working genius, right? So you know that you don't have tenacity. Well, you're not afraid to say, hey, you have it. Yeah. Let's bring you in, because you'll be better and you'll have more fun than me doing this, right? So it's all of those.
I will just say too, at Purity, I think that's one thing that we are incredible at, especially as a group of women, is always cheering each other on. You did it to me just this week. You're like, you got it, Cass. You're going to be great. Oh, that's right. You know, so like we do it to each other so genuinely too all the time. And I'm so grateful to have that kind of work environment.
We're encouraging with each other.
Very.
Absolutely.
It's a good culture that way for sure.
Very much so.
Really is.
How about you?
For me, well, I do want to say, yes, support in Purity for the women, it's daily, it's hourly. There's so many things going on at all the times, and if I have to say, hey, you know, I can't do this, I can't get this right, how do I do it? Someone else is like, okay, let me help you. So we are awesome. We always like run over to each other's desks and be like, oh my God, what do we do? So
that sounds very familiar. That's how we do. What do we do? I'm here. I'll help you.
So, but one thing for sure is back in my Synopta days where I was in customer service, and the VP of Finance at the time, Ann Kim, she said, you know what, you might be good in accounts receivable. She saw something in me that I was like, all right, so what do I do? Right. And then that really started my career. It was just, I fell into it, and she was right. She saw this genius in me that I didn't even know I had. Love that. And just continue to grow from there. So
it's very inspiring to then do it too with people that surrounds us.
Yes,
right?
Yes, yeah.
That's great. Great example.
Cass, has there been any particular point like that you can kind of look back on your career that was a major kind of moment of growth?
A few. Yeah. There's two in particular that come to mind. Okay. So, like I said, I've been in pretty much all departments of Purity, but I had zero interest being in sales. Zero.
Right. That's unbelievable.
Okay. And now I couldn't imagine doing anything else. Yep. So initially, there was a position that came open. I was working in customer service, customer care, and a position came available in inside sales. And my manager at the time was like, you need to apply. And I went, no, thank you. And he was like, nope, you need to apply. You are absolutely cut out for sales. And I was like, no, thank you. And anyways, I got shoved into applying into inside sales, and it was one of the best things. So that was probably the first. That was my foot in the door into sales. I loved it.
Game changer for you.
Game changer. Because before that, I didn't really know what I wanted to be when I grew up. I was kind of stuck. Yeah. I had done some schooling. I had finished all that. I had done some courses. I dabbled in a few things, but sales was never one that came to mind.
Had you before that, like the courses and whatnot that you were doing, did you have a specific goal or like an aim, or it was just kind of general trying to find your landing?
Typical me fashion, just kind of squirrel all over the place. Yeah. And my second big one was actually, again, when this position that I'm in now came up, wasn't even a thought. I was like, I've never managed people. I loved the accounts I was working with. I loved working
Attached.
with very
You're
attached. And I just didn't think that I was cut out for that.
Right.
And Julie came to me and said, I think you should apply for this position. I was like, no, thank you. And
She's very polite. She's very polite.
and I think you said something along the lines of like, it would be a disservice to you and to Purity if you didn't at least apply. I can't say you're going to get it, but you need to at least put yourself through that
What a lovely
process.
thing to say.
Lo and behold, did it. And
Yeah.
I learned a lot in the past 5-6 years that I've been doing this role.
Yeah.
And now I can't imagine being anywhere else.
Yeah,
So 2 big moments for me in my career for sure.
Neat. How about you, Alana?
Prior to Purity, another strong female manager that I had, I was purely just in collections. And so it was boring. And I didn't like it because I hate asking people for anything. So it's very odd.
And asking for money.
Exactly. It's like
That's
the
gotta be
toughest
hard.
thing.
Yeah.
But again, she got me into the credit aspect, which is the finances and analyzing and seeing cash flow and the health of a company, and it broadened my my horizons. And with that, fell into the Certified Credit Professional program, which I
Right.
got my designation in through my boss who introduced me to it. So that completely flipped me. So
Yeah.
I was going for someone who just did paperwork, I thought, to really seeing the bigger scope of things and empowering me and realizing, I can do this. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I didn't think I could.
Yeah.
But once I got into it,
Yeah.
and I'm like, oh my God, I passed that course. I passed that course. I got an 80 on that course.
I might be good at this.
Oh my gosh. I didn't fail any of the courses. Oh my God, I have my designation. So it's,
You feel that person really basically had more confidence in you than you had in yourself at that point,
big
right?
time.
So-
Yeah. It was her pushing me to do it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, I'll do it. I'll do it for you. I'll do it for you. And then it turned into, I'm doing this. This is great. Yeah, I'm doing it for me. So
Oh, that's fantastic.
awesome.
Yeah, game changer.
For me, I think it was transitioning to a leader role. I always had a good grasp on what I can do and performing for myself, but then being responsible for not other people's performance, but their own growth and that sort of
Yeah.
thing. I feel like in the last year I've grown a lot, and I'm pulling from some of the best leaders I've ever had and some of my friends. Erin, one of them.
Yeah.
Natalie is another one.
Absolutely.
Actually, just because they lead with kindness and directness. Also very empowering. And I feel like I feel like that was the biggest transition, moving from just my own work to training others.
Yeah.
And then just being responsible for their happiness at work as well,
Yeah.
right? Because when you're in a team, a lot of the time, the leader is the one that sets the tone. And so I would feel like that would be the biggest shift. Now
Yeah.
I'm comfortable there. I never thought. And I remember being on your team and being like, I don't want a manager role.
Yeah.
I don't want,
Yeah.
not that I'm I don't
Yeah,
want
yeah,
a lead
yeah.
role. And
Yeah.
and then when it
And
came
here
up,
you
I was like,
are.
I actually do.
Yeah.
And I like
So
it.
Yeah.
and I do, exactly.
Yeah, it's
Isn't
pretty
it funny
fantastic.
too how, like, I found that for myself too throughout your career, as you have different leaders in your life, you pick different pieces of like, that really worked, or I really liked that.
Yeah.
And just, you're able to kind of pull all those together and develop your own leadership style, right? And
Yeah.
it's pretty cool too to pull that, especially from, and in these circumstances, a lot of us have all said, there was this woman that really pushed me along, or this was what I learned from them.
Yeah, absolutely. It's good. You create your own leadership style and your own style by picking up pieces.
Yeah.
But I think that one word that resonates a lot is that confidence.
Yes.
That confidence that somebody else has in you.
Yes.
And that give you that strength. So then you can pass it on to other people that I'm sure if I was to ask, in your team, I'm sure you see the same, you see like potential in people that are like, oh no, I don't think I'm ready. But it's so funny when you see clearly in people their strength and their potential, and you see more than, like, you don't want to give up, right? And that's good. Like, it's a great testament to see from where you are.
When they say no, thank you. No, thank you.
No, Sometimes tenacity
more of a
translates in that.
push.
Yeah, you're like, yeah, sure.
Push
I
or
like your
shove.
answer, but yeah, sure. We'll come back later.
Yeah. What's the saying? A no is never a no. It's a maybe later or
Maybe
something
later,
like that.
Yeah, exactly. I always say that. I say, just not now. Like, just not now. Later. Yeah, we'll get there. since again we're doing this for International Women's Day, if you could change something about how women are perceived in the workplace, I think it improved, changed a lot, but there's still come a long way. And I think I would say at Purity we have like our core value helps in that sense. But what would you say could be improved in the way that we see women in leadership or are treated or something like that?
Stereotypes, get rid of them.
Yeah.
Like I think everybody, you are your own person and you bring your own thing, and just the fact that you're one gender versus the other, it doesn't matter. You're a human being who's doing there. You're a part of this team. Yeah. And I just think any stereotype at all, I don't understand them. I don't. So
you're a human being.
Yeah. That's it. We all are.
Yes, exactly.
Is there any stereotype that you've felt kind of been attached to you as a woman?
Just not being able to do the job.
Right.
Right. It's
well, and probably more so even in within finance,
right.
Which is a more
male-dominated role.
Like
finance, maths are more of a man's, like back in time, traditionally.
Like, listen, sweetheart, we don't worry about it. Stuff like that. Like, it's like,
exactly.
Like,
and all the women cringe.
Yes.
Don't sweetheart me, thank you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Thank you.
For me, it would probably be that because occasionally, not all women, speaking for myself here, can be more emotional, more expressive about how I'm feeling. That can sometimes be perceived as a weakness and not being able to make a decision because your emotions are too intertwined into it. Right. The perception is that you can't handle certain situations because you get, hyper or emotional or elevated about something. I think it's the opposite. I think the fact that we're able to...
Look at the heavy nods. We've got heavy nods to this, the opposite.
We feel the emotions, we feel things through, we think things through, and also it gives the ability to our team to know that they can also be completely unapologetically themselves. That's been my big thing the last couple of years, is just being unapologetically myself. Be you, because when you're being genuine and when you're not bottling things up and holding things in, you're able to express and be the best version of yourself and do the best work and have the best morale and not feel like you have to shove things down. So,
and what a great example you're being, I think. And I know you've said that before, that you've had times in your career where you did feel that you were kind of bottled and told, no, you need to be a quieter version of yourself. And you've really, like you said, like that's something that you've worked on and actually been able to embrace the real cast.
Took a long time, but loud,
fantastic.
Redheaded, say what I'm thinking. And also I was, when I started in sales, I was the youngest female salesperson ever to go on the road.
Yeah, there was a
lot of doubt
shift.
there.
There was a big difference in the percentage of male versus female. I remember back in time. And speaking about emotions, I was listening to another podcast, and it was a medical doctor, that was explaining actually in business that because of cycle that we have, there's actually 2 weeks in the month that we are superstar
sharp,
we just can do and sharp and all of that, and then when we get in the period time, energies goes down. And they say if everybody understood that, then in the males will say, understanding that part, that it's not because we're weak and we can't make decision, is that it's a cycle thing. Like it's a true thing. Something is happening in our body and that influence. And we live that. Like we know, like when we talk to each
doesn't
other.
Get enough credit,
no, exactly. You know that when your energy, you're at your top, and that's when performance,
I think
making
that's so
decisions.
important. Like being able to use the flip of that, which is, and when how do we use this to our advantage? Like how can we use this to
Erin Wellness? Erin Ashley talked about this in I was a talk that I attended when I was out west, and talked about those cycles. And we are, like you said, super sharp during a few weeks, but then the weeks that we're not maybe in that, we're in the planning zone. We're able to be get our administrative done and get everything tidied up. And more like the thinking side of ourselves. And so there's not a period of that ever where it's negative. It's just different in the different cycles.
What we go through and using what we're going through at that time to the most benefit of that time.
Enough,
We don't.
Well, it's being more and more talked about now. That's what I love, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, the like shame of that conversation is gone now.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it is. It's definitely
Well, it's
out
getting
there.
gone. I mean, this would still be a very, if this panel was men, it would be a very different conversation. I think if Julie and I were up here saying, during these 2 weeks, we're going to be really grand. These 2 weeks, we're going to be planning. Like, it still is. It's
Well,
just
It's the understanding.
I'm working on that right now.
Yeah.
We're gonna have a calendar, and all the dates will be there, and say, "Well, this is Erin's week,
Yeah.
so now
Could you
it's
imagine?
time." Yeah,
Yeah.
They'll say, "Girl, it's too complicated. Forget it."
Yeah.
We'll work
But
it.
yeah, I mean,
amongst
like,
us.
we can use that. And I think we need to talk around that and make that more accepting.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
looked like you had something to
I think it's just more research around women's issues in general,
Yeah.
to be honest. And so it's always surprising when we talk about our cycles or we're more energetic at these times. And it's almost like all this information is new, but it really
Isn't.
isn't.
It's just talking
yeah,
about
it's
more
just
now.
not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
good point.
Yeah, we
there-
just discovered though that all the tests for like all the men's like supplements or performance, it's all made on male's rat. There's no female in there. So everything that has been performance or anything always been on that. So it's kind of but it always been.
Well, it's
sort
like,
of.
isn't that the same thing with all the research on all like antidepressants and
Yes.
and all of that has
Everything.
all been done on men?
Yeah.
Car crash,
Yeah.
like when they do the crash test dummies, has all traditionally been done on men. So now they're like discovering, well, wait a second, women are
Women's
getting
Women's
more and more
anatomy are
damage to
different.
these because
Yeah.
we haven't actually tested them. We just
They
we
need
just
a thicker
tested them.
bag.
There's all
Yeah.
sorts
Wow.
of stuff, right?
We have the thicker skin.
Yeah, it's
That's good. Get into some
Yeah, let's jump into some rapid fire.
Yeah, some fun question here.
All
I'll
right.
let you start.
Anybody want to start?
I'm happy to.
All right,
Okay,
Cass.
let's do it.
Oh, this is a good one for Cass.
Okay.
What is something you love to splurge on?
I'm a splurger. I actually said to the girls earlier, I think my credit card is going to start fighting me back pretty soon. Like it's going to start throwing punches if I keep it up.
Best
That's why you're in
one-liners.
sales. I had a manager. She was telling me, "Go fill your credit card," and I was like, "Okay," just because you're gonna have to sell more to cover
To pay it back.
exactly. So
Yeah.
you're okay.
Well,
You're
they
all
always
good.
say the best salespeople are the easiest to be sold to, and it's no joke.
Right.
Like I get suckered into everything. I'd have to say, as I've gotten older, it's changed. It used to be clothes and shoes, and then it was like makeup and this and that, and now it's like horse and cat stuff. I'm like that crazy cat lady, and I love my cats and my horse, and I will spend like anything on her, and
Yeah.
I'll cheap out on myself to buy her like the nicest new saddle pad or the nicest new whatever. So definitely horse
or oil
things.
for her skin.
Or oil for her skin.
skin.
I
This
buy
is a
her
whole
flax
thing I know
oil from
nothing
Purity,
about.
and it costs
Wow,
a
me
fortune.
neither. Oh, something in
There we
common.
go.
Once.
Look.
Woo!
What'd you say, sorry?
I said this is a whole thing I know nothing about, and Julie
Oh.
also knows nothing about this.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. I'll spend anything on horses for sure.
oh, that's good.
What about you, Kristine?
Yeah.
Soy wax candles.
Soy wax
They're so-
candles.
yeah.
Really?
Love candles.
Oh, I wish you could see Christine's face.
You know-
if you're not watching.
Oh yeah. Yeah. No, exactly.
Soy and Co.
Rapture.
Yeah, I'm always like, what's their scents are incredible.
are.
I love burning a nice candle in my house all the time.
Do you make them too?
Soy wax? No.
Yeah,
I
no.
just like
to buying them. Yeah. Splurging, not work. Yeah.
burning them in the house because those are
Clean.
like they're clean. They're
yeah.
clean for your
Yeah.
lungs.
Yes.
So that's important. And I just
That's a good
that's
one.
my splurge.
Nice.
That would be my
that's a good
splurge.
one.
What you,
What
Alana?
about yours?
Last 11 years has been my son.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what I splurge on. But my husband has brought me into the world of branded high-end clothing recently, so
Oh,
that's
boy.
starting. I never really was into that growing up.
Oh, that's a nice and painful one.
Oh yeah, what is it?
What's been
Yeah.
the last big hit for you?
Yeah.
Oh, it sounds like a drug. What's your last big
Yeah,
hit?
no,
It was,
exactly.
was it Brooks Brothers outlet?
Oh.
Yeah, I love Brooks Brothers. That's some classy stuff.
That's some classy stuff.
So we'll be following you to see what's the next thing.
Yeah.
How about you? I have a question for you, huh?
What's my last splurge?
Yes. No, not your last. What you love to splurge
What I love to
on.
splurge. That's a tough call. Yeah, I don't know. That's a tough one when you're not
Prepared?
Yeah, prepared.
Got you there.
maybe clothes. I mean, we've had a similar
Yes.
question. And I think at that point I said Starbucks is my like.
I was gonna say for you,
I-
Starbucks.
It's funny
Yes.
because like I I justify this to myself because I live in an area where there's no Starbucks. I work in an area where there's no Starbucks. So in my head, if there's a Starbucks near, obviously I need to get myself a Starbucks. Yeah. Right. But the problem is I'm in an area with a Starbucks every day, even though I don't work near there where there's one or live near one. So I can justify it every day because when am I going to get it next? Who knows?
Exactly. You never
Tomorrow.
know, right?
Tomorrow is the answer.
One life to live.
I love it. Me.
That's a good one. Love it. Okay.
What about you, Julie?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought we would go under.
Oh no,
under the radar.
no, you're not getting
Let's
away with
hear
that one. I feel like I know the answer.
Anything
to this.
Wonder Woman these days, and I've been
That's true. You're on a Wonder Woman
spoiled.
kick.
I know,
Yeah.
and I've been spoiled by everybody around.
Yeah.
Erin brought me a beautiful frame. I got a cup, and so yeah, I think I just know it just inspires me. So that's a great. But yeah, clothes, of course, clothes anywhere, everywhere, and yeah, that's my little thing, my little gift to myself. Yes. Okay, now, what was the first natural health product that you fell in love with? And we always love that question because when it's been many years we've been in the industry, sometimes we bring back some products that don't exist anymore, or like, ooh.
We're like, oh yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So, Kristine.
Mine was the Leif's dry shampoo.
Oh yeah. Eh?
We don't have it in stock anymore, but I know. But it had this little tip on it.
Yeah.
And you
I
could
know
put
exactly
it right
what
on
you're
the
talking
root. And it came in blonde and brown. And at
Yep.
the time I had more blonder hair, so I stockpiled that. Like,
Yeah. Has a little bit of sparkle to it to give you a bit of a gloss to
I
it.
loved it.
Yeah.
Good
applicator.
Yeah. A couple weeks after starting working there is when I yes, I would say that would be the first one, but there's so many. I would want to go on and on and on.
Yeah. I know. It's a difficult one choice.
Right now, Noon tablets.
Yes.
I love them.
Yeah.
I'm obsessed. Yeah, the effervescence of
Yeah.
them,
Yes.
and I do like a hot Pilates, hot yoga.
Yes.
So it's nice to hydrate with a lighter taste.
Yeah.
Like
Yes.
they're a lot light. They're very light
Yeah.
tasting. So just dropping in some water before I do my
What
hot classes.
flavor? are you
The
on?
lemon lime
Yes.
plus caffeine.
Plus caffeine. Yeah.
Yeah, for a little,
love that
little
little
kick.
kick.
Yeah.
So I have a couple.
It's
Yes.
hard to choose.
Yeah,
It's hard to
it
choose.
is.
So my first food that I was introduced to in health food was hemp hearts, and I went on the hardest hemp heart binge. I put it on everything, and I still do
That
to
was
this
a
day.
big trend when it came
Oh,
out.
yeah.
That was everywhere you could put it. That's
Hemp
crazy.
hearts on everything, and I still do. I go through a lot of hemp
I
hearts.
just threw a bunch of my oatmeal the other day.
It's the best. But for body care, it was the Alba Hawaiian hair care
the
and
Hawaiian.
Kukui nut body butter.
Oh
It's like
my
an OG.
God.
It's still out there, but it
Yep.
smells
Yeah.
amazing. So those were my
I remember
starter.
working in the store and we had a display and that the whole Alba Hawaiian line, and it was
Yes.
so new and fresh,
smells
and
so
especially
good.
in the natural,
And
nothing was
travel.
like
Yeah,
that
no,
before.
exactly.
Yeah.
And they had testers. The Kukui one was specifically
yeah.
one that
So
people would
good.
try, and you
feel
smell
like
it
traveling.
and-
That's
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah.
That's a wow in the industry.
Alana's like, oh, okay, guys. I don't know.
Oh, we can introduce
We can
you to
explain
it.
it in
It's
great
still
detail.
around today. It's still around today.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, for me, Sukin. I
Yeah.
was we're redoing the basement, and I'm like, okay, I want to have some nice little products out, and I fell in love with the packaging at first, and then I brought it home and I tried it, and I'm like, this is like putting Australian soil and leaves on my face. It was great. It was so clean and refreshing, and yeah, I have it today. So now every single bathroom has a display of Sukin in it.
Really?
Yeah, when family come over, like, what is this? I'm like, it is the best thing ever.
It's Australia,
It's
the tip of
Australia.
your finger.
Yes. I'm
Love
take a
it.
little vacation in my powder room.
That's amazing. That's fantastic.
Alana, what's something that we would be surprised to learn about you?
Oh, a few things. But high school, I played tenor saxophone in the concert band.
Tenor sax?
Yes.
We could play together. I did the alto
No
for
way.
years.
Oh, yes. I got
Yes.
your tenor line for you. Okay, that's
Okay.
perfect.
I did bass clarinet. I did bass clarinet. Can I play too?
You did too?
I
Oh my
played
God, we have
clarinet
a
in
band.
school.
Who's singing?
Not me.
No.
Security
I don't put anybody
band.
through that. Yeah.
That's so amazing.
Do you have an instrument?
Saxophone.
You
Oh
did?
gosh, I was terrible. I couldn't.
The alto or the tenor?
The alto, the bigger one.
No, that's tenor.
No, tenor.
Or did you
Yes.
go down to baritone?
Yeah,
I tried to get out of music class as
Oh,
much as
okay.
I possibly could.
Kristine was in the back hall.
No, yeah.
It's like I was holding a saxophone.
I think I switched. I did like trumpet, saxophone, whatever I could just switch to, just to keep.
just to try.
Yeah,
to
nothing
make it.
was sticking.
That's funny. I am terrified of bodies of water. So I love to be near the ocean, near a lake, near a river, sure, but you won't catch me past my knees in the ocean. I'm because I'm afraid of fish and I'm afraid of birds.
Oh.
So particularly
Don't
fish.
make fun, Julie.
I have Julie knows. Anything that flies around my head, it doesn't do well with me. But I've tried to face my fears several times. I've gone like snorkeling, being like, okay, you're gonna get over it, you're gonna do it, and something crazy happens. Like I had a barracuda come near me one time, and that was the end of it for me. I was climbing up the wrong side of the boat. I was that scared.
Oh my goodness.
So I'm terrified of bodies of water.
Oh. So when you go south in a destination, do you
I just
get
look
into
at it. I
You
just
don't even go
stare.
on the.
To my knees, maybe.
What
Okay.
about, but you're okay with like pools and...
Because I'm not really, I'm not a big swim fan.
Right.
I could take or leave a pool. I'll sit by them and I'll
Yeah.
people watch and that kind of thing. But
with
no.
natural bodies, it's like an actual fear. Like
If I
just
can't see the
straight
bottom
up.
of it, especially.
Right.
That's why like little lakes and stuff freak me
Yeah.
out.
So anything in Ontario.
Literally anything. Yeah.
I think you fit well in Las Vegas. It's pretty dry. I
I'm
heard.
good with that. But see, I love to be near it. Like when I go,
Right.
to PEI or
Yeah,
to
yeah.
anywhere like that, I love being near the ocean. It like
Yeah.
totally invigorates me, but won't
That's
go in it.
interesting. Such a dichotomy there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
big time.
What's something that would surprise us about you, Kristine?
So I was thinking about this while the girls were answering, and I guess in keeping in spirit of Women's Day, International Women's Day,
Yeah.
Erin knows this about me, but I all through elementary and high school, I went to an all-girls private school. So I grew up with all girls around me, and it was empowering.
Yeah.
But it was crazy because then you get into the real world, and you're like, oh,
There's men.
there's men. Amazing women friendships that I've made through that experience in my life,
Yeah.
and so many of them have gone so far. It made me start thinking back to, just like all the girls I went to school with, right? And we were close knit. Amazing experience, and so.
Yeah, but
So-
different. Yeah.
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 That's fantastic. Well, it was certainly a great pleasure to have you today, learning a little bit more about you and to celebrate that Women's International Day.
Yeah, celebrate all of these
Yeah.
women and the great other women that we have Purity and all the women that have supported us.
Yep.
Absolutely. Yes. So thank you.
Thank you
Thanks,
for having
guys.
us.
And it's time for some new to Purity life. So today we're going to talk a little bit about the new brand to us, which is called Kid Star Nutrients. So this is an
Exciting.
interesting line. It's put out by Caitlin Vanderhaeg. So she had a 2-year-old that had some iron deficiency anemia and really just found that she couldn't find an iron on the market that was suitable, that was palatable for her daughter. So she finally was just like, I'm going to make one myself. And she did. So we have the BioFay iron. Comes in a liquid, and there's a chewable tablet. There's a 10 milligram and a 5 milligram. They also have iron for adults. So it's
that's
a
great.
whole family supplement, the iron.
Okay, it is. And for those who are listening, the bottle is red, so it's very striking, and the flavor is Sweet Blast. One of them.
It's interesting. Iron is very difficult to disguise in
Yes.
supplements. You've tried
Yes.
them as much as I have, I'm sure. And especially for kids, there's just always that very metallic flavor. that's very
Aftertaste.
hard.
It's a bit like the fish oil and iron are the two supplements that are difficult to swallow.
But
not
this
to-
chewable one, so I just had one here. Very, very small, super easy to chew, and it doesn't have that metallic taste at all. Actually,
great.
super easy to take. My kids would take that for sure.
And chewable would be already like the digestion or absorption
That's a
start
good
right
point,
in the
actually.
mouth as
Yes.
well. So it's accelerated, which again, iron is a supplement that it's hard to absorb usually. So that's really, really well done. And the packaging is fun. It's really kids look.
So great product there. And she's only using natural colors and xylitol for sweeteners. So really clean line. They have vitamin C as well. They've got a multivitamin, cutest multivitamin. So they look like little astronauts, little tiny blue astronaut that is reminiscent of the Flintstone vitamins.
I know.
Same sort of shape
I
and
know,
size
I
and
know.
super cute.
Yes.
And
So
again,
not-
we just had one of these here too. And we were like, oh, this is good.
Yeah, this is good. So parents, if you're stealing the supplements of your children, you might need to take a couple of those, but great back in time return. So definitely you won't have to fight with your kids to take that one.
Yeah, that's a good one.
They also have some cool all-in-one a plant-based protein with fiber and DHA. You have kids. I'm sure that when they were younger, it's harder to get them to eat their protein.
Yes.
So this you can, and the taste and the flavor name is pretty cool. The Cosmic Cocoa.
Yeah.
So that's already very attractive.
Yep.
But it's a good 10 grams of protein.
Yeah.
So you can mix that with.
Yeah, and that one's
pretty
from
much anything.
pea and pumpkin seeds.
Yeah, absolutely. So, and not the least in the brand.
Yes.
We also have Magicare.
Magicare.
Yes, Magicare is back. We used to distribute, and now it's back with the line. So
Yeah.
we're very excited. Plant sterols and very good as I say, it's not sexy ingredients, but it works.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah, very effective.
Yes.
Something we love for sure. I mean,
Yes.
modulating properties. And they have that in the chewable, which again, I mean, for kids, but adults can use the chewable if that's easier for
I
them
love
to take.
the chewable, definitely. They
Yeah, that's
really
right. You
taste-
just chewed one, actually.
Yeah, two actually. You didn't see me grabbing the other one, but it's a must. It's absolutely a must.
And then available in the capsule as well.
Absolutely. Well,
Yeah. That's the end of another episode. Thanks so much for joining us. Certainly like and subscribe so you can keep in touch with all the rest of our episodes. Leave us a rating, leave us a review. We definitely want to see what you have to say. And follow us on Instagram. We've got Pure to Life Health Products LP. I'm at Erin G. Macklin.
And JD_Girl Power.
And check us out next time. Next week, we're going to be interviewing Tara Bosch from Smart Sweets, founder of Smart Sweets. And be sure to tune in because we're going to announce a new collaboration with a sweet giveaway.